Hi, I'm Josh Felker with Lone Star Handgun. Today I'm going to talk to you about the basic stance and fundamentals of a stance. Now, the reason a stance is important, it allows you to operate the handgun and help control that recoil at the same time being mobile. Attacks are never generally going to come at you from the same direction. You need to be able to be mobile to move quickly. Now, there's two fundamental things on that stance. First thing is, I want my feet shoulder width apart. I want them shoulder width apart so I can move at an angle quickly. 75% of shootings happen at 5 feet or under. I might not be the best shot, but I do need to be able to move out of his or her way if necessary. So feet shoulder width apart. My center of gravity needs to be forward, not to the rear. Handguns don't have a whole lot of recoil, but the recoil they do have is magnified if I got my center of gravity back here and I'm rocking on that gun. So I need to lean into that gun to help control the recoil. Now, two schools of thought when it comes to stance. There's what's called the combat isosceles and also the improved weaver. I'm going to demonstrate both. Now, on the combat isosceles, remember, feet are shoulder width apart, square up to my target. Wherever my target is, I'm generally facing directly at it. My knees are slightly bent. The weight is on the balls of my feet and not my heels. Remember, center of gravity needs to be forward. My arms are going to be punched out, extended out. Not locked out, but nice and rigid to help control that recoil. And this is basically the combat isosceles, where I'm making a triangle type deal with my arms. They're completely extended out. Now, the advantage of this stance is that it controls the recoil with both hands. When that gun's recoiling, I'm able to control that recoil with both hands. My center of gravity, I move forward with my target straight forward on me. The next stance is the improved weaver. It's also probably the most common stance. Most people probably grew up learning how to shoot this type of stance. Improved weaver is where I take my dominant leg and it's to the rear. My non-dominant leg's forward, feet are still shoulder width apart. It's also referenced as the fighter stance, a similar stance you might get into if you're about to fight. I'm kind of at a candid angle. My dominant hand's going to be extended out with that handgun. My non-firing hand's kind of at a bent angle. So as I bring this gun out, arms extended out straight, right here. My non-firing hand's kind of bent. It's a push-pull. Advantage of this stance is that this is probably the most common stance. Most of y'all probably shot a rifle or a shotgun kind of at this candid angle. It's also easier for some people to control the recoil. The disadvantage to this stance is it's not a natural stance. You might find yourself in a gunfight. You know, you'll find yourself in various stances depending on the situation, but most people, instead of having this push-pull like the improved weaver was designed for, most people, because of the adrenaline, will punch out completely and be in that combat isosceles as is. So, combat isosceles helps control that recoil better because both arms are extended out. Improved weaver got one extended out, but the main recoil control is with your right hand, or I'm sorry, your dominant hand, whatever hand that might be. A lot of people like to shoot the gun like this. They think they can get real accurate sights, but it jumps up on them. The main thing in a defensive situation is I'm trying to put lots of big holes into somebody very quickly. So I'm trying to control that recoil so I can get those sights back on target as quickly as possible.